Hey, welcome guys for our Sweet Fit Daily or Sweet Talk Daily is what it should have been. Today we're going to be talking about three simple ways that you can start to help your hormone. Blech. I can't talk to save my life. Okay, let's try this again. Welcome to Sweet Talk Daily, where we make fitness palatable. Today we're going to be talking about three ways to help manage your hormones. Simple things that you can do during your day to day, and just making this, accessible to multiple people. So I'm just going to get into the nitty gritty. There's already lots of people here. Hello, my friends. We got lots of new people on Instagram, lots of people on Facebook. So let's dive into it. The first way that you can help manage your hormones is actually to make sure that you are eating enough healthy fats in your diet. Enough healthy fats are going to help you with hormone production, and they actually make a huge impact in our just general body function. Fats are a really important thing that we want to make sure that we are having. So, foods that balance hormones usually typically include a variety of fat containing foods. So they have different chain size of I cannot talk for the life of me today, guys. Oh my god. They provide short, medium, and long fatty acids. I keep thinking of different types. But basically, they are the building blocks for hormone production. They can help keep our inflammation levels low, and they can help us to boost our metabolisms in a nice and gentle way. Okay. So, good healthy fat examples might be avocados, coconut oils, different types of fatty fish has been known to have a high amount of omega-3s if you do eat meats. And just ensuring that you're eating whole rich foods, nuts and seeds go a long way for our healthy fats as well. Okay. So if you want to help your body out, let's make sure to put an emphasis on omega-3s over omega-6s and 9 fatty acids. Okay. That is our first victim of choice. And number two is to make sure we are managing our stress. It's a very, very simple thing to talk about, but to do is a whole different premise. Whenever we want to manage our stress, we have to look at what is triggering our stress. We need to look at how are we responding to said stress. And third, but not least, we have to make sure that we are actually addressing said stressor. So a good example might be, sorry, I'm just going to read the comments here. Okay, Miss Brooke, you're here, finally catching alive. Love it. So simple things that might be, perhaps you've had a loss in your family or you're feeling a tremendous amount of stress from work. In these cases, a simple way to identify it is to look at our day-to-day and identify things that we don't necessarily want to do. Are we putting them off? Are we feeling anxious about them? Are we doing different things on this sort? Two, we're going to identify our trigger. How does our body respond? Identifying how our body responds to triggers. Maybe we're not sleeping well. Maybe we're stress eating. Maybe we have stress headaches. Maybe we're feeling a lot of tension in our upper traps up here. Maybe we are putting off just doing anything in general and feel really crappy. Sorry, Instagram, we paused. Maybe you're just feeling kind of crappy overall and are putting everything off because it's too much to think about. If you are feeling any of these types of things chronically, it might be worth noting that you might be a little bit stressed out. And so for us to manage said stress, once we kind of look at our life, identify the stress, identify how we're triggered, now we can find a way to manage said stress. Perhaps it's box breathing. Perhaps it is meditation. Perhaps it's your morning routine. Perhaps it's going for a walk outside. Perhaps it's having some sexy time with your partner. Perhaps it's sleeping in later. All of these are different ways that we can address our stressors and attack them head on. Maybe that is talking to your boss. Maybe that is talking to a friend. There's many different modalities to help your stress. When we have too much of it, our stress hormone is typically cortisol. This can make us get second winds later at night whenever you're like, wow, it's 11 o'clock and I can do everything under the sun. These are sometimes referred to as cortisol reversals if they become chronic. So just something to be aware of. Stress management is key to fat loss and key to hormone health. Brooke is yelling on Facebook that she wants to say that everything I've said is know that everything you said is valid. Don't let other people tell you otherwise. How you handle your stress after those initial feelings is a game changer. Totally. Absolutely. And number 3 is actually managing our sleep. These guys are really simple. I didn't go too in depth on like the hormone actual science here. And I didn't go too in depth on how these things affect us because I wanted to keep it fairly short and sweet for you today. And so we want to make sure that we're actually sleeping. What happens when we sleep? Everybody's focused on workouts and food. But what we tend to forget is that none of the muscles are built while we are working out. All of our muscles are built while we're sleeping. Repair, guys. So when you work out, your muscles create micro tears. While we rest, while we eat food to help us repair those micro tears, they are repaired typically when we sleep. And so when we stress them out, they tear a little bit. And then they build up a little bit bigger so they can handle more stress. This typically strength gains. And when we lose sight of that and focus just on how much we lift, or how much we train, a lot of us forget that rest is absolutely imperative. But it's also the time when our body flushes out excess hormones. It's the time when our body flushes out toxins. We recycle different forms of hormones as well. So it's very important for us to make sure that we actually get a normal amount of sleep. And if you are having one of those cortisol reversals, or perhaps you have a sleep disorder, or perhaps you have anxiety waking up in the middle of the night, it's going to be really important for you to focus on simple ways that you can make sure that you're getting a decent amount of sleep, even if it's broken up. So if you have to sleep for 3 hours and then have a break and then sleep for 4 hours, that's something. What we want to do is make sure that we are prioritizing that amount of sleep and that amount of rest so that our body can do what it needs to detoxify and regenerate itself. You don't get pretty skin without washing your face, drinking water, and eating good food, right? You don't grow hair without the same thing. So these are all imperative, simple tasks that you can do to help your hormones and help your overall health. I wanted to keep it simple, sweet, and short tonight. So just to summarize, make sure you're eating enough healthy fats, as they are a lot of the building blocks of good hormones. Make sure we're managing our stress because it can increase some negative things. We want to make sure we're on top of that. And number 3, make sure that we're actually sleeping so that our body can rejuvenate itself. Doesn't have to be complicated to have a big result, okay? We got a question here on Instagram. To increase our intake of omega-3s, do you simply reduce your intake of omega-6s by half? Ooh. Okay, so unless you're into tracking micronutrients, that's going to be really, really hard. So what you can do is you can take a specific omega-3 supplement. You can reduce some of your animal products. Actually, a lot of animal products are very high in omega-6s. A lot of fortified foods with corn and soy have a tendency to be higher in omega-6s as well. So you can look at reducing those, and you can also look at increasing specifically omega-3. Facebook, we got Shay coming in hot. Sleep and rest is so essential. And good old Brookie Brooke is still saying rest, rest, rest. All right, guys, we're keeping it short and sweet tonight. Hope that helped you out and you got a little bit of value. What is your number 1 stress management tool? Let me know in the comments below, and I will check back later. Much love.